Multiverse is a concept about which we know frighteningly little.
Hey, welcome everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Marvel Monday podcast. Let me just get the panel in real quick. Let me do this. All right, so let's see who we have with us today. Today we have the let's start off with the one at the top of my list, Mr. Oyman. What's up? What's new with you? Mr. Oyman? Hello.
Mr. Oyman?
No, I heard Mr. Oyman, but then he just disappeared. But let's start off with you then, Mr. JT. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing well.
Connecting to your Wi-Fi. I don't think he is.
Hey, I hear you, Mr. Oyman.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Wi-Fi helped a lot.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with you. Anyways, so how you doing, Mr. JT? Nice to have you back.
Yes. From now on, again, like I said last week, I am here permanently on Mondays, and it's great. This week has been great. I saw a lot of movies last week, The Bad Guys, The Northman, and so I've been really trying to get my movie thing on. But now, like the upcoming movie where everybody and the mom is going to see this weekend, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, it's going to be awesome, and I just can't wait to talk with you guys about what we think is going to happen. So I can't wait for this episode.
Yeah, glad to hear. Yeah, definitely. I remember. I also watched The Northman last week, and that was pretty good. But other than that, I don't think I've seen anything lately. Hold on, let me just mess with some stuff here. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
A little bit in and out.
Oh, okay. Better. That's better on my end for you guys. So I could definitely hear you really, really loud and clear now. Anyways, so let me see. Hello?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Just making sure. Yeah, no. What about you, Miss Cap? What have you been up to lately? Nice to have you back, by the way.
Yeah. Glad to be here. It's been a hectic day, but this is gonna be a great wind down into my day. Now I had a pretty good, busy, great weekend. I went to a concert recently, so I am on a very good high right now.
That's good. Who do you go see? Could you hear me?
Yeah. We can.
Okay. No, I just asked who did you go see?
Oh, I went to go see it's a band called AJR.
JR.
Yes, they are amazing. I've seen them 3 times, and this is my 4th time seeing them in concert. So like, big fan.
Okay, that's cool. I might need to check them out. Don't know if I've heard them or not before, but Mr. Oyman, could you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I mean, it's
Okay.
staticky, but I think it'll come out fine on the stream.
Man, well, I know for sure it's gonna come out fine on the
Yeah.
stream for me.
And I can hear everyone else better than you, which is funny, but I can also hear you through the closed door.
Okay. Oh yeah, because he is kind of technically joining me live. So I'll make sure to speak up so that he could hear me. But
Yeah, I can hear you.
Mr. Oyman, of course, pleasure to have you back. You've been gone the past couple weeks. So it's nice to hear that familiar voice. How have you been? Anything new with you?
I'm doing good. I didn't get to go see AJR or anything, but I was in a show that some of you got to go see, and I'm thankful that you guys got to come see me perform. It meant a lot to me. But I'm just gonna be honest. This week kind of came by much faster than I thought it would, because I am extremely hyped for this week. Not only am I going to be able to watch the entirety of Moon Knight on Wednesday, where we of course have Doctor Strange in the Mom the day after.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for this week. Wednesday and Thursday cannot come fast enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Mr. Johnny Joestar was not able to join us today. He was feeling a bit under the weather. He might drop in the chat, but let's wish him a fast recovery. I don't know exactly what he has, but I hope he feels better. So shout out to you, Mr. Joestar, if you're out there listening. But let's let's go ahead and get
you're
this
gonna be
rolling.
missed.
You're the star, Joestar.
All right, so big day today, of course, because we got a lot to unpack for the previous week. We got a very, very juicy episode of Moon Knight. Of course, we got some random ass news that's not too much, but it does draw some speculation here and there from both during CinemaCon, Sony, and other big companies, of course, but Sony did release a bunch of info on the unfortunate what's it called universe they're trying to build. And of course, we also got some stuff from the MCU itself. And last but not least, the final topic we're going to be covering today as well is going to be our quote-unquote bingo cards for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which is going to have some speculation, and mainly it's going to practically boil down to more like our wish list, honestly. But I feel like that's going to be a little bit of fun. We'll see later next week at the start of the episode who got the closest to bingo, if anyone got it at all, or if we are all going to be like completely out of the ballpark and not get anything right. But without further ado, let's start off with the news, of course. So last week, like I mentioned, we had Sony Marvel Extended Universe, we did get Venom 3 announced that it's now starting production, which was honestly a given. We all saw that one coming.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
Into the Spider-Verse, it got its sequels, new dates, I believe, for Across the Spider-Verse, and then they gave an official title, which was Beyond the Spider-Verse, I believe. Am I correct on that one? Okay. Yeah,
Yep,
so we got that for sure. Let me see if I could actually pull it up there. I did want to share. All right, I'll let you guys go real quick. Actually, Mr. Oyman, you're going to be our reporter on the Sony Marvel thing. Just get a little bit more into detail about garbage like that and El Muerto and shit like that while I pull up some articles here and there.
Well, I don't have any articles handy. Is that the news you want to start with?
Yeah. We start off with the bad news.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can pull up something. So I got none. Well, so basically, Sony kind of, they announced their what their like slate of upcoming films is. They don't really sound like anything that most people would want to watch, but then again, Venom made a lot of money, so I assume that Venom 3 will also make a lot of money. Trying to see if I can find the thing that I found that had like all the like plot synopsis of the different films coming up. But basically, they have a Kraven the Hunter film coming up, I think next year, and then shortly thereafter they'll have the what do you call it? Madam Web movie, which is like why, and then they also have a Venom 3 announced. They have I forget, they had something else. It wasn't Silver and Black, but they do of course have the big one that everyone's super pumped for, which is El Muerto, starring Bad Bunny. Now, this is a character that is so obscure, not even I actually did read like one comic with El Muerto in it that was actually in Spanish, and then I had to go and find the English version. But that's the only time I've ever seen this character. But why he's getting his own film instead of just putting these characters in other Spider-Man movies, I don't know. But yeah,
They want money.
well, yeah, that's of course. They made nearly $2 billion with No Way Home, so they're gonna keep pumping them out. But I mean, Morbius kind of bombed, so I don't know how much longer they think they can get away with this.
Yeah, and also on Tim Con, I'm really excited for the Spider-Man to Spider-Verse Across the Spider-Verse in 2023
Yes.
and the sequel
Yeah.
2024, because like the first film was amazing, like the animation style, the story of Miles Morales becoming the Spider-Man we all know and love, and also Gwen Stacy from a different universe coming by. So it's going to be amazing, and I can't wait to see what type of animation that Lloyd and Miller have in store. I know that I read the article that is supposed to be across 6 different universes and over 240 characters for the next film. So I can't wait to
they
see,
did clarify that a lot of those
again,
characters are actually just background characters. They're more like they animated 240 individual characters so that it's not just the same faces in the background all the time.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I found what I was looking for. So yeah, they also not only do they have a Kraven the Hunter movie, Madam Web, Venom 3, but they also have a Spider-Woman movie that Olivia Wilde is doing now. This is the only one that I think has some like potential to maybe be decent, just because she has proven herself to be a pretty good director, and Spider-Woman is a character that could work on its own without Spider-Man. But I'd rather they just, like not do
with
that.
Sony, in Sony's hands though.
But we'll see.
Yeah, no, not in Sony's hands, man. I have absolutely no
Yeah.
faith in anything.
Oh, yeah. They also have a Silver Sable movie and then a Night Watch movie. I have no idea what the Night Watch movie is supposed to be, other than it's a character who can cloak themselves.
Every time I hear fucking news from Sony stuff, I hear that in my head, and it's like triggering.
Apparently, another interesting thing is that apparently they wanted to have Andrew Garfield return, but he's too smart. He's like, no, I'm not going down that road. I got.
Oh yeah, no,
so they're gonna introduce their own new Spider-Man.
He caught whiff of the shit that Sony was doing. It's like he was walking down the studio, and he was just listening and smelling, and he's like, "Geez, I need to get out of here before they rope me in and ruin my career again." It took him like a decade to recover. Jeez, goddamn Sony. I trust them with like TV shows and games, but their movie department it's so questionable. But other news that came in today.
You know who they want to get to play Madam Web?
Yeah, it's the
mom from Hawkeye. The Kate Bishop's mom.
Wait, what about her? No, it's Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson isn't playing Madam Web. She's gonna be Dakota Johnson is playing Julia Carpenter, who is a Spider-Woman. The Madam Web herself, who's Cassandra Webb, they're looking to get Vera Farmiga.
I don't really care what they're doing over there. I don't even know this is gonna be like half of these are even gonna see the light of day, because they tried shit like this before. They did it back in the Amazing Spider-Man days. They were gonna have like a Aunt May Secret Spy movie and all this weird ass shit. Like, I know there's some comics that do that, but they catch whiff of a little bit of success, mainly with the help of Marvel or the Sony animation department, and then they think they own the world and go ham, and I don't know. But
the biggest missed opportunity, in my opinion, with all of these is that they're giving Kraven the Hunter his own movie where he's going to fight another evil Kraven instead of fighting Spider-Man, and they're getting the actor who played Quicksilver to play him, which he's a good actor, but I'd rather see someone new kind of play these characters, and I'm just like, well, what are you doing, Sony?
So you're saying it's just Venom reskinned?
I mean,
that's what Venom boiled down. It was Venom versus evil Venom, and not just Carnage. It literally Venom won.
Yeah. Well, and then Morbius, he just fights evil Morbius. It's like the same fucking shit.
Anyways, I know I shared this in the group chat with y'all, but when I saw it, I thought I'd share it on here too. Oh my god! I personally, what's it called? Got that reaction when I saw this set photo here. I mean, you could see him in the right hand corner too. It's pretty close to that version. So that actually, those set photos released today. I think just Jared is the one who broke that down, or brought it out. And honestly, what are y'all's thoughts on this? Do you guys like the design, or are y'all not fans of the Annihilation era Star-Lord costume?
Yeah, I don't know much about
All right, go ahead, Miss Cat.
I'm different about it. I mean, obviously, I don't know much about, the costume designs about, with different versions of Star-Lord and his costumes. But, I mean, if it's close to the comics and the portrayal is close to it, then I'm all for it, So, that's all I can say about it.
What about you, JT?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know much about the comics, but I am excited about looking at the pictures. Chris Pratt is back, which is great. I love him as Star-Lord. I love him as his humor within the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and I think that it looks good on him. I think he's doing a fantastic job. I trust James Gunn with the comic thing that he's working on, especially the first two knocked it out of the park, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it looks like it's gonna be a great film. I kind of see what they're going with in terms of the aftermath of Endgame and how that kind of his mindset because he lost Gamora, like the one that he knows and everything. So it's gonna be interesting, and so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, uh, we got a comment from Sightings of Clyde. It says, "Ayo, he looks like a scrub." I mean, that's just Chris Pratt sometimes. But what's it called? Well, like I said though, JT, like you don't have to be like a full blown fan, but I'm like I mentioned, the costume they're basing it off of is right here on the screen actually of our background in the right hand corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought there's always going to be changes, of course, and I really hope he gets a helmet to protect that noggin of his. It always bothered me that he had a mask but nothing protecting his actual head. But I think it looks pretty badass. Like it just, I know Mr. Oyman knows how excited I was because I instantly had to share it with him. Like it was literally like Michael Scott in The Office. He was. I opened up social media and it popped up, and I don't know. It looks promising to me. I'm really hoping that that means that what's it called? That's the suit that he's gonna eventually wear for Guardians Volume 3, because I feel like that's peak. If they change it for that movie and this is only for the Christmas special, it's gonna be kind of sad, honestly. Any thoughts from you, Mr. Oyman?
Say what again?
I said, any thoughts on the suit from you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool that I feel like the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general has been kind of going back to their comic accurate roots. Like in WandaVision, we got to see the classic costumes in there. We got to see a glimpse of Thor's classic costume in the Love and Thunder trailer, and then of course we're now getting. Hopefully, the whole Guardians team gets their classic suits. Like if they do, I mean, I don't know about you, me personally, if they do Gamora with her like classic white suit, that would be really, really cool. I would really geek out about that, but
well, trust me, you don't want like the actual classic suits from anyone though.
Well,
like,
actually, you're right. The classic Gamora suit would be the green one, right?
The green one with the fishnets.
With
Drax would be like wearing a cape in a purple hood.
Well, I don't know if they'll go that route with.
And
Drax.
then Star-Lord would look.
But I kind of doubt
Star-Lord would look kind of like a weird, like 70s trippy version of like Night Owl is what he used to look like.
Yeah.
No, I think the peak costumes for them have been the Annihilation era. Obviously, Gamora, they're not gonna do that costume. So I agree with you. The white costume from I think it was like the 2012 run, or no, 2014. I think it was
2009, 2010.
No. The 2013 or 14 when they relaunched after right before the movie.
Yeah. Okay. 2013 then. Okay,
yeah. They did the white costume. White and black one that looks like tactical armor.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, go ahead.
There's something I wanted to bring up. Did you see the for the holiday special they had like little ornaments that show what the characters look like? Did you see that?
No, actually I haven't seen it.
So we now are getting an adult Groot. So Groot is an adult now.
Nice.
Finally, I got a little tired. I got a little tired of the teen Groot.
Yeah, he's like now he looks different from adult Groot from the first Guardians, but he's definitely grown up now. And then I think Rocket actually has like a different suit than even that orange one. So and then Mantis has a new suit as well.
Yeah, I know these pictures showed Nebula and Star-Lord. I didn't get to see all of them because, like I said, I was at work during my break and my break ended. But I did see a few. And it looks promising. I definitely had my like reserves on Christmas special because we all know how previous Christmas special stuff for stuff Star Wars has been.
Star Wars.
And yeah, I was like, oh no. And James Gunn even referenced when he was first making this. He's like, oh, inspiration from the Star Wars holiday special. I'm like, oh shit, no. Here we go. But no, this looks kind of promising. It looks like it's going to be a fun little thing that leads into the third movie. And I'm all for it, especially if it's gonna have introduce these awesome costumes that they have. But moving on. So we did have also the news, of course, that let's start off with Fantastic Four. It lost its director. And Mr. John Watts said, "Nah, I don't." Yeah, he's like, "Screw this, Feige. Like, it's too much work. You could keep it." Nah, just like apparently.
I feel like.
Go ahead.
I was just say I feel like any franchise that has the word "fantastic" in it is cursed, whether it's Fantastic Beasts or Fantastic Four.
I haven't seen the Fantastic Beast ones. I haven't heard like anything really great about them.
Yeah, don't bother.
Yeah, but no. So John Watts left. I mean, it seems like it from the sound. I don't know if it's PR or not, but I mean, it seems like it was pretty like they left on good terms. I mean, let me see. Watts. I'm reading an article off Deadline. It says that Watts said, "Making 3 Spider-Man films was an incredible and life-changing experience for me. I'm eternally grateful to have been a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe for 7 years. I'm hopeful we will work together again, and I can't wait to see the amazing vision for Fantastic Four brought to life." So yeah, so it sounds like he I mean, even Feige himself said something, let me see, and I'm going to paraphrase. It's that they are optimistic that they'll work together again at some point down the road. So, do y'all think that's just PR talk, and maybe it was a little bit off more than he could chew for that particular directing style? Maybe it's not what he was used to, or do you think?
I think I know what it is, but I want to hear JT. What do you think?
I think that John Walsh has done a lot for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially the Spider-Man movies. But hopefully, as a great fan of his, I will like John
Krasinski.
Yes, to direct
Mhm.
the MC to direct Fantastic Four, because there's a lot of fan cast of him as Richard Reeves, and also his wife as Invisible Woman. So that's something that can looking forward to down the road. And plus, he directed A Quiet Place and Quiet Place Part 2, which is remarkable movies about alien invasions on Earth and that sort of thing. So he's a great director. So maybe Marvel can kind of give him like an X amount of money, like, hey, can you direct a beta franchise that we kind of wasted these last 10 plus years or so? And maybe, who knows, but
you could be onto something there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had my mic muted. Yeah, no, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Any opinions from you, Miss Cat?
Honestly, I'm just hoping to just do it justice, whoever the director may be. We've had 2 versions of it. One obviously a little bit better than the other. But but I mean, I just want them to do it justice. Just make it great, something that we will all enjoy and not have to, harshly criticize it. For once.
Yeah, and you said you had a thing that you might think it is.
Well, yeah, I think that my guess is that somebody came to Feige with an idea for a Fantastic Four movie that they liked, whether it's someone already directing in the MCU or someone new. And I have a feeling that Kevin Feige has something else that he has in mind for John Watts to direct later down the line. And so maybe like John Watts is going to take a bit of a break. He directed 3 mega blockbusters back to back, just like the Russos did. He's got some money. He can kind of fund his own little projects, but he'll be back to direct something in the MCU event, like not down the road.
Yeah, I could see that. I just find it a little bit weird that he would just tap out right when, like, because the first movie had its fan base and stuff like that. And the second movie, again, it was pretty solid. I enjoyed it. I know a good chunk of people were like that. It was probably the weakest one. And then he just hit a home run with the third one, and I just find it weird that it's like it just comes off weird that he hit a home run and then he's like, all right, time to pack my bags. I'm not gonna try to touch this for a while. I don't know. It's a little bit off to me. Any other
believe it or
thoughts?
not, everything is kind of off with Marvel in terms of its directors. So I mean, this is kind of nothing new. I mean, that's what you can expect from a big brand of Marvel. You know, a lot of these directors make great movies, and they're kind of tired of the quote unquote unseen rules that they have to follow, especially with secrets, and also the actors have to follow some rules that they have to follow within the movies themselves. So maybe he gets tired of it, and like
needs a break.
like Mr. Oyman said, like down the road, maybe John Watts and Kevin Feige might have a plan together in place as to where 2 to 3 years later, he might actually direct maybe the Spider-Man, another trilogy of Spider-Man, because he's done so well with the the cooperation with Tom Holland and him, having the same ideas about where Spider-Man will go in certain directions. So like you never know, but this is kind of typical, with directors within the MCU universe, and yeah. So he kind of needed a break. So
well, Morty, I like what you said about. Well, you and I talked a little earlier today about Peyton Reed maybe taking over.
I could see it. I don't know. It feels like it. I know a lot of people have their reservations about Peyton Reed because honestly, most people think that the Ant-Man movies are probably the weakest ones in the MCU.
I don't know about that.
No, there's actually quite a bit. I mean, other than your typical usual suspects like Thor, The Dark World, and such like that. Usually the Ant-Man movies aren't the highest regarded. I mean, a lot of people clowned on like the script and such of Ant-Man and the Wasp, but they didn't realize that it's the same writers who ended up doing No Way Home. But I personally think his style and like the Ant-Man feel would work really well personally with a Fantastic Four setting. That way they don't. Agree. That way, because the Fantastic Four, when I think of them, even the Jonathan Hickman run, that was a little bit more serious and such. It definitely didn't feel. Oh, that one did feel real dark at moments, but it's still. They always have like this strange like campiness to them, regardless of how dark the writing gets at times. There's just something about the Marvel's first family that you kind of need that Ant-Man feel. To kind of get it right for the most part. Would y'all agree?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Speaking of Ant-Man, I enjoyed Ant-Man, also enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think Peyton Reed's direction of making Ant-Man a kind of humorous character, because especially in Infinity War, he came back and like, oh yeah, he's back. He's been in the Quantum Realm all this time in Ant-Man and the Wasp. And so now he's kind of breath of fresh air character in the Dark World. But I agree. I think Peyton Reed will do the source material justice, because he did Ant-Man. I mean, I enjoyed Ant-Man, but again, like Morty said, it's regarded as kind of the least spectrum of the MCU movies, because it's not a blockbuster per se. But I really think the Fantastic Four needs that campy, humorous vibe, because these are campy characters with unique powers, and especially with the Thing and being a Rock and the Human Torch being all cocky and everything. So I think it needs a special humorous touch to it.
Yeah, definitely. You brought up a good segue, or did you have any input, Miss Cap?
No, I don't think so. I think you guys all kind of brought it home a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, the Fantastic Four, they did a sort of humorous take with the Tim Story movie. And it didn't really work. I didn't think it was bad, but
I enjoyed
really
those.
Work.
I mean,
and then they went the opposite route
and
with
it still didn't work. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Never go full Fan Four stick.
They gotta find a good middle.
They need to lean into the cosmic
middle ground
of Fantastic Four. That's what the movies have been lacking. But now that Marvel has that established, I think they could make it work.
Well, they've slowly been creeping into that. I feel like a lot of the stuff that might happen in like Doctor Strange-ish and Guardians, and even like the Miss Marvel and such. Even a lot of their shows like the Marvels, or not the Marvel, Secret Invasion. Those it looks like they're ready to start bringing in the cosmic world, which they were going to in Guardians 3 before the whole James Gunn debacle thing happened. So I definitely, and I know Mr. Oyman and Slucius know this, that you don't have to tell me twice about the Cosmic Marvel. That's probably my favorite aspect in the comic books. Like, I'll push aside the Avengers and all the other teams to get me some cosmic stuff. But let's... go ahead.
I was going to say, the fact that they're bringing in the Skrulls, like, they already introduced them with Captain Marvel, but the Skrulls have always been a big part of not just the Secret Wars, but the Fantastic Four also. So I really think they know what they're doing. I'm curious to see who they get to direct, but...
Anyway, so moving on, though, we did mention Ant-Man earlier, and so the last piece of news that came out this past week was that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania and the Marvels are getting a swapperoo. Like the thumbnail shows, a reverse Uno card. So we have Ant-Man now coming out on February 17th and of 2023, and the Marvels are going to come out on July 28th, 2023. I don't think there's a whole lot of meaning behind this personally, but there is some. I believe there is a little bit. I'll let you guys go, and then I'll give my 2 cents. Again, nothing like troubling, but more like it might be because of a couple of different reasons. What any thoughts on you guys? Mr. Oyman, you have any thoughts on why they might have done that?
The main reason they switched dates was just because they finished filming Ant-Man and they're still working on the Marvels.
Yeah, but why wouldn't they prioritize working on the Marvels if it was supposed to come out first? Like,
I mean, it's possible they probably did some major rewrites like they have done with other movies. And Quantumania, maybe they just like the script so much that they don't feel any need to reshoot or rewrite any of it. So they just... sometimes all these movies got pushed because of COVID. So Ant-Man, maybe being a slightly smaller scale movie than the Marvels, they were just able to get it done sooner.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended.
And any thoughts from you, Miss Cap?
I kind of think it's kind of a good move. Like Mr. Oyman said, it's like, Ant-Man and Wasp, they finished it. So it's kind of like in that like post-production phase. But instead of Marvels, I think what I think is that I think Marvels isn't like Kamala Khan, like Miss Marvel, she's going to be in there. And so I think with her TV show coming out, I think they want to wait a little bit and see how well that does before they be able to really get up and running that,
that makes
having
sense.
the Marvels come out.
Any thoughts from you, JT? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, that's it.
What about you, JT? Do you think this is just...
I think for me I think all this is going to center around Doctor Strange's multiverse in MOM, because, again, like, Ant-Man and the Ant-Man Quantumanium, we know that Kang the Conqueror is going to be the villain. I think there's no doubt about it. I could be wrong, but it all points to Kang being the villain. And I kind of feel like MOM is going to be one of those movies where it's going to change the game in terms of whatever direction that Marvel goes. And I think Ant-Man is a critical part. Like, Ant-Man 3 is going to become a critical part in the aftermath of what happens, in Doctor Strange 2. So I think it's a great move. I think it's a great move for Marvel, and we got to see it if it pays off or not.
I think the other thing we have to keep in mind is that they probably switched the release dates because Quantumania is going to tie into Loki season 2 somehow. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So maybe they thought it might make sense to have Quantumania come out before season 2 of Loki, which originally would have been the other way around. So that could have something to do with it.
See, my theory is kind of like that. It's a Disney Plus show, but it's not Loki season 2. I actually think that they might have done this, and it might be giving us a release window for Secret Invasion. Because I feel like originally Secret Invasion would have been out decently sooner, and it would have put it before that February release date for the Marvels. But it looks like that might have gone due to COVID and such a little bit behind, because they announced that strangely way too early. Like for the release date that it might potentially have, they announced that around the time I think that Moon Knight got announced, and some of these other shows that are already going to come out, and that one still we haven't seen jack squat about it other than the logo. So I think that what happens in that show is going to obviously directly tie into the Marvels, because you're going to have Monica Rambeau come back, and they're probably going to start fleshing her out a little bit more so that you're more familiar with her when she comes up in the Marvels. Obviously, Miss Marvel herself is going to have her own show. I don't think she's going to be in Secret Invasions, but who knows? But I have a feeling...
You might be surprised.
But I do have a feeling that a lot of this stuff, again, they're going cosmic, so Secret Invasion is probably going to set the stepping stones onto what exactly the main plot to the Marvels is going to be. That's just what I think. And that's why they're like you said, Mr. Oyman, they probably are trying to get those to maybe mesh a little bit more, so there probably was more extensive rewrites for that. Because I feel like Ant-Man, while it is going to have like a big impact on the MCU as a whole, due to what it's probably dealing with, and the fact that we all kind of know that Kang's in it, I just feel like that's more like a loose, like, you know how that's going to impact more than like on a personal level. You get what I'm saying? Like, if it's the overall big board and not so much the finer details that they need to worry about.
Again, yeah, I just think it's because the production is further along on Ant-Man, and I think they want to tie it into Loki season 2 a little bit. But who knows? We'll find out definitely after both shows and movies are all out.
Yeah, but that's my guess. So I guess that my guess would be that Secret Invasion is going to come out obviously after February. I would guess most likely February is going to be Ant-Man. Then we're going to start March most likely with Loki. They probably want to keep that time frame like the previous season. And then either those usually go for about 6 weeks. So close to May we'll probably have the start of Secret Invasion, if not after whatever the May Marvel movie is. And then we'll have the Marvels. But that's just where I guess the release windows are going to start looking at. Excuse me. All right, so let's just go ahead and move on because we got some more ground to cover. So Moon Knight episode 5. Everybody watched that one, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that pretty much shows how I felt too. So why don't you start us off, JT? Just give us like an overall thoughts on what you thought of the episode. Like, did it hit you in the feels, or was it exactly what you were hoping for, or was it like? Because we did do some speculation last episode. I don't remember what yours was exactly, but did it go in line with what you were thinking?
Mine was that he, that he was in a mental hospital and it was all in his head. I was technically right because like you said in the episode, he's in the underworld, and so he's trying to, that balance the scales a little bit, and then we go back and forth within a mental hospital. I think that was really cool. And then, like, we get to a point where we find out his backstory, and guys, I have to tell you, when watching the backstory is sad. Like, I had no idea this is gonna be like this sad, and dude, the stuff that he went through as a child.
Yeah, I didn't think they were gonna cover that ground.
Whew,
what about you, Miss Cap? How did you feel about this episode?
Oh my gosh. Like, I think by the end of it, I was just like so shocked that like I wanted more, but also like I needed a break from it. Because
Mm-hmm.
it was just so emotional to the
Emotionally
point where I was
draining.
like, whoa. Like,
I
I
should have
think
got.
like I saw something on there as well, like phase 4 is just all about emotional trauma. And honestly,
I should
it's
have
like
gotten that.
100% true.
I should have gotten
Like
that
all the
soundboard.
shows have somehow have hit traumatic events and just hit them hard and like, hey, we need to put this in the forefront, and they really brought that in this episode.
I should have
And
gotten the
honestly, I
sound
almost
clip of
cried a
the
little bit. Like
emotional
it was
damage.
very emotional.
Yeah, no, I agree. What about you, Mr. Oyman? You weren't able to, what's it called, join us last week, so we didn't get to hear any speculations on what exactly you thought was going on at the end of that final episode and where it was going to lead. But did it more or less go where you were thinking, or was it like, oh man, this kind of lines up with what I thought, but it's going completely different?
I mean, it didn't really surprise me too much because if you've read the Jeff Lemire run, you kind of know what to expect. Like yeah, I know a lot of people felt very confused about the end of episode 4, but I knew exactly what they were doing, and I feel like the 5th episode kind of reinforced that
See,
the
but
theories I guess I had. I will say I was definitely expecting them to kind of reveal a third personality, whether that be Jake Lockley or someone else.
Same here.
And I also will say that I was not expecting, even though I loved the ending, I was not expecting them to essentially kill off Steven in order for him to become balanced. Like it kind of made sense, but it was very heartbreaking.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mhm.
no, but see, you mentioned the
So, man,
Lemire
gotta
run,
piggyback.
and the Lemire run, it's in a weird situation. I know they do this for a lot of the comic book movies, but and shows, but it both follows it, yet at the same time it doesn't, because it does draw some very close similarities to the Lemire run. But the Lemire run didn't deal anything with like childhood trauma like that one did, and honestly, it just I was not expecting that. Like,
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it made perfect sense, but yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Like
to that level.
my theory was way off. I was completely wrong on that one, and I'll take the L. I mean,
What
obviously,
was your theory again?
it was that he was in like almost like in a limbo state. He's not quite. Well, I guess I was kind of right there, where I'm like he's technically dying, but I thought that Amit was pulling him into like another plane, like I think in the Lemire run they called it, the outer void or the other void.
Something.
Yeah, I
with
thought it
void.
was gonna be kind of like that, but they were gonna make it to where they constructed something more comprehensive to his brain, which they kind of did, and with the psych ward. So he's technically there. They just changed it up for his mind, and I thought that Amit was the one who was gonna save him to try to take his body, because she needs a new host, and or avatar, I should say, and
Yeah.
I thought that since he was holding her little statue thing when he got shot, I thought that that's the reason he was gonna be coming back, but I was definitely not I was pretty far off, and I'm glad I was, though, because what we got was so much better. It was so good. It was a roller coaster of a ride, honestly.
Yeah. It was similar to WandaVision episode 8.
Yes, a lot of similarities, but this one just it hit more for me. I don't know. It just the performances. I love Elizabeth Olsen, and she gave a great performance, but man, Oscar Isaac is just on another level. He showed a huge range of emotions on this. He like hit every single emotion you could think of, and like subcategories. Like he had like angry crying, sad crying, and just like I don't know, so many different layers of being angry and sad at the same time, all at once, while he was technically performing with himself. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like an hour of Oscar Isaac acting with Oscar Isaac.
Well, he's going to get nominated for an Emmy, definitely.
Oh, I hope
Of
so.
course.
But
Oh,
it
please.
just
Yes.
it
Also, another thing I want to say is that I believe that we saw Jake in this episode because remember when like Mark woke up in the mental hospital and we see a bruise on his nose or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Oh
Mhm.
my gosh,
Yeah,
I thought the
yes.
same
kept,
thing.
well, and he had a
kept
different
really
accent too.
angry with the knife. I think that was Jake.
He had
I
like
think that was Jake too. I
he
have to say,
he
yes.
had like a different like
Completely agree.
look. He had a different like accent.
Different accent.
Accent, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And he was that's the only time where I don't know if they did it just to again do Easter eggs to the Lemire run, but his look was
Throwing
just
it off.
straight out of the comics. Like he had the nose strip, where it's like bloodied and beat up, and
Mhm.
the only thing though is that I don't see them bringing Jake in this late of the game. Because
Yeah.
that would be a lot of ground to cover in just 45 minutes, which is what the next episode is supposed to be.
Yeah, I was going to say the last episode is the shortest of any MCU
Yeah.
live action show. So, like, I think we just got to take this as the whole show is just meant to kind of introduce who Moon Knight is, and we're going to really, get more of him and other films. And stuff
That's
down
why
the road.
I don't see him doing Jake Lockley at all because it's kind of late in the game for this, and it's the story arc that he goes basically in letting Steve go because he created him for all the wrong reasons. It just seems weird to randomly be like, yeah, he became more whole by accepting his situation. Let's just throw in another personality. It would counteract what this whole episode was basically about.
But I mean, now that he's gotten rid of Steven, you could say that would introduce, like, that would leave room to introduce Jake now.
Yeah,
But if they do it, they might just do it as like a tease at the end.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's kind of weird that they would give the boot to Steve just to bring in somebody else. It seems completely like
Thematically confused.
yeah, like it doesn't fit the theme of this whole series as of so far. But yeah, no, that whole episode, I mean, from start to finish, it hit real hard for me. It brought out emotions that I didn't think I would be experiencing throughout this show. And it just, some of the stuff they covered it got me. Like, looking back at some of the stuff as why he feels like he can't be loved is because not even his damn mom, who's probably the only, like, usually the saying is that's a face that only a mom could love and stuff like that. Like, it's known that, even in hard times and such like that, moms are usually the ones that are going to be there for you and all that. And it just
nurturing,
yeah, Mark just didn't get that. I mean, not only did he just lose his brother, but at the same time, he lost his mom. His mom was worse off than if she had died because she was still there and she was reminding him of the awful event that happened, and while at the same time emotionally and physically abused him. It was rough. It was
hard
rough
to watch.
Yeah, honestly.
I give props to Marvel for going there too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I did not see them doing something like this, tackling something like that type of topic in this. It's just not, from the beginning of the show to even the character himself in the comics, you don't really see that. So them tackling this and making it all make sense is really impressive in my opinion. It and it made some of it actually, I don't think I've talked to Lucius about it, but he had a bunch of complaints about Steve being like slapstick and funny, and Mr. Knight being like not wanting to fight and just being like, everybody calm the F down and stuff like that. But in hindsight, this episode not only stands on its own as probably the best episode in my opinion of any of the Marvel Disney Plus shows. Obviously I'm not going to compare it to like the Daredevil stuff and all that. That's a different category for a different time, but this one not only stood on its own 2 feet and excelled at it, it actually brought up a lot of the other episodes in the series, because it made some little things here and there that when you kind of go back and look, you're like, oh man, that makes a lot more sense.
That makes sense.
Like a lot of the conversations, intimate conversations that he had with other people, or like Lucius complained about Steve Steven and Mr. Knight being funny, it shows why that is the way it is, because it's a personality that Mark wanted to make that didn't really resort or think about violence, and was like his happy place. Steven was his happy place. So it made sense why Steven was so silly and so sweet all the time, because it's what Mark wishes he would have experienced. Yeah. But how did, I'll let y'all go. Y'all decide who gets to go first, but how did y'all feel about some of those themes, and looking back at some of the stuff that was done in the previous episodes, how it did it start clicking with you guys? I'll start off with you, Miss Cap, and then you guys could choose who goes after.
Yeah, I have to say, watching episode 5 and then thinking back of all those like little ticks and little, mentions from the first 4, you kind of get a sense of like, that like aha moment, like, oh, that's why Steven this way, that's why Mark's this way, that's why he doesn't speak about these things, that's why certain things are like kept under wraps, and obviously I'm like into the fandom and stuff like that, and so after the episode aired, I looked at some like, some posts about, episode 5, and it's just really interesting how people like put things together and like analyze, like, oh, like, Mark sees, I think I saw one post, like, Mark sees Steven as like his younger brother figure, the brother he couldn't save. So he protects Steven as much as possible because he couldn't protect his brother when he was younger. And honestly, it's like, I'm like, that makes like a lot of sense in a way. And then like also just going back to like his DID, like, it makes a lot of sense, like he would hold all that to himself, and his alter, Steven, gets all the good stuff because he doesn't want to, put that onto him. And I think that's really interesting, and how they creatively did that in this episode was really interesting.
Definitely.
And honestly, I gotta give major props to that.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the most what's it called? Well thought out Marvel series so far. Like everything seems to be lining up, like you were mentioning, everything seems kind of to be lining up within making every single episode relevant. And what were your thoughts, JT? JT, you still there?
This last episode was amazing. And going back to the previous episodes, again, like kind of hold everything together of why Mark and Steven were that way, and why he kind of reserved, especially talking about how he became, Khonshu's avatar, and why he doesn't talk about the experience in the desert, because of the moment where like Khonshu kind of forced him to be his avatar because he was dying and kind of had no other choice. So that's why he's kind of, self-aware and everything. But I agree with you guys. Like this episode kind of raised up all the other episodes to a point where each one is relevant. And I mean, if I have to kind of rank them so far, I think Moon Knight has to be the top of the list when it comes to the Disney Plus shows, because they kind of hit you hard, especially in this episode and in the previous episodes before. It kind of makes you kind of think about life in a sense and everything. So, just like Miss Cap says, like everything Marvel does is critical. Every detail matters, and this show kind of proves it, especially in this episode. Yeah.
All right. So while you give your 2 cents, Mr. Oyman, I'm gonna let Pedro Pascal kind of show us what it feels like to watch Moon Knight's episode 1 through 4, or 4, and then lead to episode 5. Say that was basically me. But what were your thoughts, Mr. Oyman?
I've only seen, other than the first episode, I've only seen I've only seen each episode once, like 2 through 5. So I'm very excited to go back and just binge the whole thing on Wednesday leading into the finale.
See,
I did that with Loki, and I think it really like might have contributed as to why I love the finale so much of that show. And for me, this show, if it ends as strong as Loki did, then it'll probably tie for being my favorite MCU Disney Plus show. But I mean, I think each episode has definitely. I mean, it's hard to say with these shows. I always feel like they could be longer, but when I've been going back and doing a full MCU rewatch over the last few months, and the more I rewatch the entirety of these shows, the less I feel like there's something missing. Like they feel more complete with each viewing, and I have a feeling that'll be the same case with Moon Knight.
See, this series is actually the first one where I agreed with your old saying about that, where they what's it called, that they should be longer, because they got a lot of ground to cover. I mean, I agree. With it being 45 minutes, they got a lot to do, and I'm hoping it's not just action punching and stuff like that, because the main gripe I have with the show so far, and I wouldn't sacrifice what we are getting to get this, but the main problem I've had is the fact that so far 2/3 of the show of Moon Knight have not had Moon Knight in it, so I feel like the last episode is
the same thing with Iron Man. He doesn't really show up until the second half of that movie.
Well, yeah, but there's a huge difference between a movie that's only 2 hours long. Half of that movie is 1 hour in, and you do see the stepping stones. This is basically, again, 2/3 of what's close to 6 hours of footage, and you're looking
about 4.5.
Yeah, you're looking at about 4.5 hours of no Moon Knight in a Moon Knight show.
But I mean, like, but the show it's really building up why we should even care who Moon Knight is. Like, yeah, it would be cool if we got more Moon Knight scenes with him in the suit, but the scenes with Steven and Mark have been so fascinating.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't change what we're getting, but the problem I see next episode having, though, is the fact that in order to compensate for it being lacking in Moon Knight and to appease people, I feel like they're going to try to overcompensate and make it to where the last episode is basically nothing but Moon Knight. And again, they might do like WandaVision. The one gripe I had about WandaVision was that the last episode turned into a generic CGI magical thing blasting everywhere. And I hope that this one doesn't go down that same path to where you have amazing character building and then they realize, oh, we didn't show enough of these characters.
We didn't do the third act finale.
Yeah, so I hope that they don't lose part of the characters just to show Moon Knight punching Harrow or whatever, just to appease the people who have that criticism of he hasn't been Moon Knight in the Moon Knight show. I do gripe about that, but I'd rather have Oscar Isaac beautiful performance than I would a generic third act type of ending.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I definitely think there's a possibility that it does go down that way, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll get. It might be more of a WandaVision finale. It might be more of a Loki type finale. But at the end of the day, I struggle to think that this will be because here's the thing: they submitted this show as a mini series, like for the Emmys, which implies that there's not going to be any continuation.
Mm-hmm.
But then I heard that tomorrow is just the season finale, not the series finale. So who knows? They'll whatever it'll be, it'll definitely leave it open.
Even if it's a mini series, I was gonna say
just be a little intro story.
And later down the line, he might show up, similar to how WandaVision's showing up in Doctor Strange. He might be a main character in something else. But I just
what
I
do you
don't
think
know.
It'll be?
I don't know. No, I feel like they are leading into Midnight Suns type of deal. Maybe not necessarily that, but I feel like they're leading down the supernatural alleyway too. And like JT said, a lot of this is cosmic horror and all that. It's probably going to stem from Multiverse of Madness, but we'll see. But yeah, no, I hope they stick the landing, because so far these are 50-50 when it comes to the final episode. They either end on a good note or decent, or they feel rushed and generic. And I feel like this one might be rushed because you have to bring Mark out of the afterlife. You have to have a meet up with Harrow and explain what the
And
hell is going.
Khonshu again.
Yeah, and Khonshu and make amends with that. But last question regarding this: do you guys think Steve is gone for good, or do you think we might?
Definitely not.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm
100%
upset
not.
that they took him away, but after finishing the first volume of the Lemire run, I kind of see where they might be going. They might be going with the whole, you think he's dead, but technically, while he's not going to share the body with Mark anymore.
He'll still be in his head.
Yeah, he'll still be in his head, and he'll be like, I'm here when you need me, like a friend type of situation, but I'm not actually going to be here. So I guess that's a perk of having another personality in you, that the other personality can't technically die. But
Right?
but yeah,
I just want to add that I think I loved how they like did his actual origin with him falling at the Khonshu statue, and him giving him the powers. That was
Bushman
straight out of the comics. They
yeah.
even name dropped Bushman. That was kind of cool.
I didn't know they were actually going to do the whole Bushman thing, but yeah, no, it was beat for beat.
They did. I mean, that's been in every single version of the movie.
Hello? You kind of bought it out and cut out there. Could you hear me? JT, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah. Mr. Oyman, you might have to get out of the server and join back in real quick, because it looks like you bought it out and we're not hearing anything. All right, so while we wait for him, any final thoughts on this episode, or what you might want to see on the next one before we get to our final topic? Because I do want to start when Mr. Oyman's back here.
I really just think I'd like to see a good ending to, or a good conclusion to Ethan Hawke's character, because he's been killing it this whole show. Like, he's a great actor, and I really think he wouldn't have taken this role unless the role was really, really well written.
Well, yeah, so far he is. He's a little bit more layered than your normal MCU bad guy. I mean, a lot of the stuff he's saying is pretty spot on. I mean, he's right about Khonshu, and he both hates Khonshu but loves the fact that he did enjoy the time he was with him. And like he's some of the stuff he says, and though not 100% good, I feel like, kind of like Thanos, he has his own motivations, and there is a part that you're like, well, yeah, that's not the way to go about it, but I see where you're coming from.
I see what you're doing, though.
See what you're going, yeah.
See where you're coming from.
Yeah, so, all right, so let's move on to the final topic. Of course, the highly anticipated Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness comes out this Thursday. So beforehand, I thought we would go ahead and kind of do a little bingo to see who gets closest to the speculation and wish list. So I'll go ahead and I know some of these cards, let's hope they're well visible. I try to make them to where they would all, for the most part, fit. I didn't get one from you, Miss Cat, but you could kind of go with us and like tell us what your little speculations and such are. So let's see. It looks like mine is the one closest to the left over here. I think.
Well, you already got one of them wrong.
What?
The one at the bottom.
There's 3 at the bottom.
The one in the middle. Middle. They clearly are gonna. They call it the Illuminati.
Well, I don't know. I haven't read any.
That got put out today.
Like, I mean, I feel like maybe for marketing, but I don't know if in the movie, I feel like they're just gonna be a team, and it's gonna set. Well, let me bring out my reference point real quick, because it's kind of a small screen.
No, not R.I.P. Wong.
Well, again, give me a second. I'll explain why I chose what I chose. And all right, so I'll start off. Come on, computer, it's having loading issues. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start off with the bottom one that you kind of said you're wrong, but what's it called? So I have a feeling they are going to be the Illuminati, but not necessarily in name. I feel like what's gonna happen is this is gonna be part of something bigger, obviously, when you're dealing with something this big. But it's gonna show super high stakes that Doctor Strange and Wanda and them are gonna be seeing. So they're gonna see this team, and I have a feeling this new team is probably gonna have to bite the dust, because I doubt they're gonna want to bring them in for future projects, because it might get a little bit too weird or too convoluted if they want to introduce, like, let's say Professor Xavier. We heard his voice in the official trailer, so it makes me wonder if they want to make a new Professor X. How are they gonna keep this one? So I don't know. I feel like they're gonna run into a weird spot. So they're probably gonna want to kill off this quote unquote Illuminati. And by the end of the movie, I think Doctor Strange is gonna be like, there's some real shit going out on there. So he's gonna create the the Earth 199999 version of Illuminati. That's gonna be more in line probably with the 616. Versions, other than obviously Iron Man's kind of not here anymore.
Or T'Challa.
Or T'Challa. So there's going to be some differences, but I think that it's going to be Doctor Strange who makes an official team, probably called the actual Illuminati.
Okay.
But that's my take for that one. And let me see. Excuse me. So the other one that you mentioned, Mr. Oyman, is R.I.P. Wong. I know a lot of people don't think that that's going to happen, but I have a feeling, I mean, Doctor Strange is the Sorcerer Supreme, and he was for like a quarter of a movie, I guess, but then he got that title taken away, and he's got to have that title back. There's no way they're going to keep him not the Sorcerer Supreme, and the only thing standing between him and that title is, I mean, Wong. I don't think he's just going to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm out of here. I don't think that's just how it works. Then next I have, in the written category, I have the Negative Zone. That's kind of like a little bit more, I try to generalize it, but what I think it's going to be is, we're going to see a lot of these quote-unquote dimensions, part of the multiverse that they're going to be hopping through. And I feel like they're going to change some of the aspects of, like, the traditional Negative Zone, or what's the other one? Like the Cancerverse type places. They might just condense them and make them into one of the different realities, instead of making them like an actual mirror dimensions of the main MCU thing. So now that's kind of where I think I really do think they're gonna start laying the different areas that eventually are gonna lead somewhere, like Fantastic Four and the Guardians and all the cosmic stuff. Negative Zone kind of is gonna be come pretty handy when making problems for those teams. And then you're gonna have I don't know, some of the supernatural aspects, or the Savage Land being different aspects that are gonna potentially show up in other projects with other teams. Next I have Nightmare. So with Nightmare, it's actually both of these on the edges here in the second row. They're kind of similar concept that I have, so they're more like interchangeable. I have a feeling the guy on the left is Nightmare, and the guy on the right is Chthon. So I have a feeling that it's either going to be Chthon or Nightmare going to be pulling the overall strings. If it's Chthon, I have a feeling that it's going to be, what's it called? The bad Wanda we see is actually not just going to be another version of her. It's going to be like the avatar of Chthon, and he's going to be basically pulling the strings with that, and eventually she's going to more or less merge into becoming a physical version of him. And when it comes to Nightmare, I feel like he might actually be what what we think is the what if Doctor Strange. I have a feeling that if he might actually be Nightmare, kind of like doing like a little shapeshift type thing to kind of like get Wanda to start doing certain things to same with Chthon. They'll get Wanda, use her as a middleman to start kind of finding a way to start a series of events that will lead to either or one of these guys taking over and being able to go to different dimensions and just kind of spread their evil and horror around the multiverse. And moving on to the top row, this again is more of a wish list at this point. Top left-hand corner, I just really want to see Hugh Jackman show up and don that Wolverine costume that they teased in the deleted scene of the Wolverine movie. I don't know. I fell in love when I saw that deleted scene. I fell in love with that costume, and I really, 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 if this is the one place they would be able to pull it off, is just have him just show up for a second, or them just hop into his universe and him be wearing that, and I don't know, they could just hop right back out. But as long as I get a good look at Wolverine finally being in the awesome cowl and like yellow and blue or yellow and brown suit would be just amazing to me. Then we have on the far right over there, we have Mr. John Krasinski. I have a feeling that obviously with the Illuminati again, that or the faux Illuminati, I have a feeling that they are going to have Mr. Fantastic because they want those gears starting to go. They're probably going to want to introduce the first family slowly before they actually get their own movie, a la Spider-Man and Black Panther. And I really do think that based on previous interviews, Krasinski has been trying to drop hints that he has been in talks with Marvel and such like that. So I feel like there's enough people out there asking for this, and there was that during Jonathan Hickman's run, there was one of the Reed Richards that looked just like him. And it just, I don't know, it just seems like something that would be something that would show up here. And last but not least, I put one of my favorite characters, I'd say probably like top 10, is Black Bolt. And I'm, again, part of the Illuminati in the comics. And I just really want them to redeem my boy here, because they just, they did him so fucking dirty in the only live action adaptation that I dragged Mr. Oyman to go see. And he could tell you I was pretty pissed when I saw it. I mean, you got one of the most powerful, well, physically powerful Marvel characters with Black Bolt in the comics, and the dude was taken and beat up by the police of all things and thrown in jail in the first episode of his show. So it's like, how the hell do you have a dude who could destroy planets with the scream and scream loud enough he could tear a hole in space and time reality type of stuff? And how do you have him get hit by a cop taser and then thrown in jail in Hawaii? That just I don't know what they were thinking. I was so angry.
Shut it down!
Do you think they'll bring back the same actor if they do bring in Black Bolt?
Probably not, because they probably want to distance themselves. Honestly, though, I wouldn't mind if they did, just because, again, I hated the series. It pissed me beyond high hell. Pissed me off. But the dude was not the problem. The dude is actually a solid actor. And if given the chance, I mean, I feel like he would, if he has a good enough script and such, he could actually pull off a really good Black Bolt.
Well, he doesn't say much, though.
Well, but you gotta admit, his faces in that show, not only were they comical, but
they were hilarious.
But he did do a lot of expression with his face, so he did have the capabilities of acting with his face.
I think he'd be a good Black Bolt. I would just like to see him like in a more comic accurate costume, but who knows?
On a way better script, one that's not
Oh yeah, well,
fucking ass.
Scott fucks out of the picture. So.
Oh, don't mention that name. Don't you mention that name around here.
You know how much I sacrificed?
My time is what I sacrifice anytime I watch anything with Scott fuck. But sorry for my language.
That's his name. So.
If there's anything that will trigger me it's Scott Buck and how he got put on to handle two of my favorite Marvel characters, and he just dropped the ball completely. But anyways, next one in line is the bingo cards is Mr. JT. So I have one for reference here, but I'll let him take the mic. So why don't you kind of elaborate on what your bingo card is and why you have those there?
Yeah, so I'll start with the top row.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but because we have two others, I really just kind of put down some things that I think we might be.
Wait, what the hell are you doing? It was JT's. It was
honest,
JT's.
I'm just looking forward to whatever we get. There's one thing I would kind of like to see that
Wait.
put on here.
Time out. I said JT, not Mr. Oyman.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I was like, don't make me mute you. I don't want to mute people, but you're out of line here.
I closed out the stream. I thought I heard my name. Never mind.
Oh, okay. No, Mr. JT.
So on the top row, I have Wanda
So sorry.
rescues her kids. I really think that this is, what happened in WandaVision. Her kids kind of mysteriously disappeared. I think she's going to rescue her kids in order to help defeat the big baddie in the film. Also, I think that Doctor Strange, any version of Doctor Strange, is going to sacrifice himself because, again, he created this mess, and I think he'll do justice to kind of fix everything all along, and maybe some version of him will sacrifice himself for the greater good. Also, White Vision appears. I know that in WandaVision he kind of flies away. I think he's going to reappear in this film to help out with the battle. I don't know, but I my gut tells me it's going to happen. Then in the middle one, on the left hand side, I put Zombie, Captain America, and Ghost Rider makes a brief appearance because we're talking about the multiverse here, and since they're introducing the X-Men and some of the elements of what if, especially with Zombie Strange, as we see in the trailers, that might give a nod to Zombie, Captain America, and maybe Ghost Rider. Who knows, but anything is possible.
I could really see him do Ghost Rider because, again, they'll probably be hopping around dimensions, and they'll probably be in like a hell-like dimension, and I could see Johnny Blaze or one of the other Ghost Riders being in that type of scenario, but well, who knows? I'll let you digress.
Yeah, and also on the next row, on the right side, I put the Illuminati Prison Strange for his crimes in No Way Home because I received in the trailer. He got handcuffed, so maybe because of his crimes happened in No Way Home, they decided to kind of imprison him, and he'll try to suffer the consequences as everything's kind of go crazy. Now, this is going to be like the weird stuff. Like on the bottom left corner, I have the Young Avengers are teased in the post credits, I believe, because I don't know. I think that this movie will ultimately lead up to the next Avengers 4, and I think that the Young Avengers is potentially in that movie.
Well, they are setting them up for sure.
Yeah.
Like overall with the Disney Plus shows and such, they're setting them up. I don't know if they'll do that for this one because of the other projects that are coming out first, but we'll see. That'd be pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, and also I put some of the X-Men, including Wolverine, battles evil variants of heroes. Because again, we're talking about the multiverse, and we all know that Professor X, or some version of Professor X, of the X-Men, is in the movie. So we might see, hopefully, Wolverine, just like Morty said, in this nice classic costume. But you never know. And last but not least, Mephisto will be revealed as the next big bad of Avengers.
Ooh.
I was wondering if
I
someone was
really
gonna
think
have that.
so. I really think so because they've been teasing. I mean, especially during WandaVision, Mephisto's been like around the real for such a long time,
I don't
and I
know.
think this is a great way to kind of
I've
reveal to us as viewers and as fans as, hey, he's going to become the next Thanos in the next upcoming
I feel
movies or
like
such, and
a
he's
lot
the
of the
one that's
stuff
pulling the
in
strings of everything. So
I feel
that's
like
my
in
take.
WandaVision, a lot of the stuff was more of like the fans trying to make it happen than it actually was them teasing Mephisto. I feel like it's just one of those that the theory got so big that people were more like looking in places that wasn't even a thing than actual teases of Mephisto.
Yeah.
But I was wondering who was gonna have that one, man. JT.
Yeah,
I was hoping no one would, but I knew someone would. I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see, especially Mephisto usually doesn't roll the same way as like a Thanos type threat. He's kind of he works in a different way. He's more like mess your life up than he is making a big problem that people need to go punch him for.
Okay, well, you never know.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, everything's up to speculation. I'm just like, I don't know. I personally don't see Mephisto happening, but who knows? Again, or they might go to a hell dimension and surprise, surprise, who's there? But next in line we have Mr. Joestar, which he only half of these actually. I can't speak on his behalf, so I'll just read them real quick. But he broke some of the ground rules we had in the group chat. So we said nothing that is confirmed in the trailers.
He did all confirmed stuff.
Yeah, and he put Shumagorath, which we technically saw, even though he's going by a different name nowadays. Wanda, well, no shit, Mr. Joestar. Of course Wanda's going to be in the movie because she's in the damn poster. Evil Doctor Strange is also in the trailer, so this one's been voided because if we go by those rules, he's probably going to win.
Yeah.
But we do see a couple of them, like he thinks the Quantum Realm might show up. Kang, Loki, female Loki. Oh, and I hope that last one is wrong. I really, really, really hope that none of that Morbius.
Which one?
He put Morbius.
No, but that's Mobius.
Mobius?
Mobius and Mobius from Loki.
Oh, okay.
Not Morbius.
It looked like Morbius on my screen.
No, it's Mobius and Mobius. That's why I put it in.
It was very small on my screen, and it's almost chicken scratch like my handwriting. So I have a hard time even reading my handwriting sometimes. So
wow.
Other people's okay. I thought he was saying he wanted the Morbius stench coming over to the MCU officially, but I'm glad I misread that. So the last one on the screen before we get to Miss Cap, because she'll have to tell us hers, but we'll go ahead with yours, Mr. Oyman. Why don't you elaborate on yours?
All right. Well, main thing was I didn't really necessarily pick things that I wanted to see because I'm fine with really I'm just curious to see what we get. So I just kind of picked some things that I did think were possibilities. I kind of played it a little bit safe with some of these, like the Living Tribunal mention. And references to events from No Way Home. The reason why I put that one on there was because I honestly don't know how No Way Home's going to be referenced if Strange cast a forget spell, but I'm sure there'll be some kind of tie-in.
Well, I mean, there's only limitations to that spell. Obviously, like cosmic or interdimensional beings might not be affected the same way as average citizens or even the regular superheroes might. I mean, some of them.
The main reference that I can see them doing is that Wong is now the Sorcerer Supreme, which was first, told to us in No Way Home.
And I agree. I personally think we might actually, unlike Mephisto, which is a reach, in my opinion, Living Tribunal has been teased
mentioned in the first film.
Well, he's been kind of in the not just in the first film. Well, I guess the concept art doesn't count, but like he was supposed to be in Infinity War. He was mentioned in the first Doctor Strange. We are getting a lot of these other cosmic beings in some of these shows and movies, so I feel like his time is finally going to be here. But I was going to save that guy for like my really reaching for the stars type of final thoughts before we end it today. But I'll let you continue.
Okay, and then I just have Ghost Rider appearance. Don't know if that'll happen or not. Mention of Dormammu again. Kind of played it safe with that one. Tony Stark variant. I do think we'll get a Tony Stark variant of some sort, whether it's supposedly Tom Cruise or maybe Downey Jr. or maybe someone else entirely different. Who knows? Maria Rambeau, Captain Marvel. Obviously, we see some form of a Captain Marvel. We just don't know exactly who it is. And then Mr. Fantastic appearance. I definitely think we'll get that. But again, which version it is, whether it's from the Fox films or it's a new version, remains to be seen. Miles Teller. No, I'm just kidding. And then Bruce Campbell cameo, which again, it's a Sam Raimi movie. That's a pretty safe bet, but you never know with them cutting stuff. They could have cut it and left it for the deleted scenes, so we will see.
All right, that's pretty good stuff. And last but not least, of course, why don't you give us 8 of your thoughts, Miss Cap?
Yes, I couldn't get mine in time, but I did write it down. So it was like starting from like the top 3. I just me and JT kind of had a little bit of a brain sync, but mine is still a little bit different versions. But I have like Wanda reunites with Vision, whoever form or variant of Vision. Could be White Vision or could be a different
Human
variation
Vision.
of him. I have America Chavez has a bigger role. I've heard things about her, and I've heard that she's in it, but I don't know if it's like one cameo or if it's it, but I kind of think she has a bigger role in this
Definitely.
movie, and I'm kind of excited to see that. And then I have like variants from different movies or different verses, and they're potentially going to be evil.
Ooh.
And I think the variants that they meet along the way are going to be in some way not good. So I kind of see that happening. Going down to my next one, I have introduction into the X-Men. I know we're getting Professor X, so it's kind of like, okay, are we going to see them go into it, or what are they going to do with that? So I have definitely introduction into the X-Men. And my free space, and then the one next to it, I have reference to the Young Avengers, which is a bit of a stretch, but I think what they're doing with the shows and like mentioning of different new, I don't want to say sidekicks, but like different the younger versions of like different heroes. I think we may be getting a hint of the Young Avengers, but like I said, that's a big of a stretch.
Well, I mean,
and then my last 3.
Wanda's kids are going to be in this probably, so
Yeah, no, they are,
and they're a pretty big part of the Young Avengers, so it's not that much of a stretch.
America Chavez might be, but I don't know.
Then my last 3, I have like the end of Doctor Strange, either sacrificed or killed.
Who?
I kind of see that's happening. Either it's gonna happen soon.
We will definitely see a death of a Doctor Strange. I feel. It feels inevitable.
Yeah, I think so too. And next to it, I have either an introduction to the big bad. I have Kang as the big bad. I think they're actually going to be like him. It's going to be him as the next big bad. So I'm kind of really excited to see that. And then my last one is a hard reset. I think because of this, obviously like multiverse of madness and, things coming in and out, there's going to have to be some sort of reset. Not reset, I want to say reset button. But like there has to be some sort of reset where everything goes to the way it was or in some version of it. So I think it's going to be a major reset, however that forms.
Yeah, I think you're right on
So-
that aspect, but the timing, I don't think it's going to be now. I think that's eventually what this movie's actually going to kind of initiate, and that's going to be like our JT said Mephisto the next Thanos, but I think the next Thanos, personally for me, my thought is probably going to be a reset is the Thanos. Like, it's a series of events that's going to happen throughout the next few movies and shows for the next like 5 to 10 years that are going to lead to like a Secret Wars 2015 type of event where everything just got so complicated that they just hit the reset button. But what I'm getting from here apparently is that JT and Miss Cap think that it's a bad time to be a Steven at Marvel because they seem to be wanting to kill them off left and right. So
Stevens with PHs or D or
yeah, V's and PA. No Steven is safe. So hide your
Steven is
kids,
safe.
hide your Stevens.
Steven is-
But yeah, no, those are all great theories and wish lists. Definitely excited to see who got the closest. Although a lot of these kind of overlap between us. It looks like Reed Richard was definitely appeared a lot, and Stephen Strange dying appeared a couple times too. Before we go, I do want to say, does anyone have like one or two really out there that they're like, yeah, the chances of this happening are probably like 1%, but what the heck?
Okay, I have one. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but I think it would be really cool if there was some kind of callback, not really callback, but like some kind of Easter egg to it. I would love to see some kind of reference or Easter egg to Doctor Strange's blue mask that he wears, like in I think it was like the late 70s. He like took on he basically wears this blue mask. He looks like a Blue Man Group. So that way when he's like traveling the multiverse, nobody can like recognize him. So it'd be kind of cool to see some kind of Easter egg or reference to that.
That sounds like something Raimi would do too, of all people.
I don't think it'll happen, but I would geek out if there was some kind of callback to that.
Mr. JT, any like really far out speculations?
I don't have any speculations, but I do think that with Sam Raimi is going to be a horror movie. Like I think from start to finish. Like I think from the beginning to the end is going to be like a horror movie type thing. It's going to be a lot of action, of course, but I think that the root of it is going to be a lot of like hellish images, sort of thing. And
hope so.
Yeah, hope so. But I think.
Evil Dead.
I can't wait till Thursday night. That's all
I know, dude. I'm deliriously excited.
Thursday cannot come soon enough.
What about you, Miss Cap? Any far-fetched but you might want to see type of deals? Like the most crazy one that might have not made your list because you thought, nah, no way they would do this?
No, not really. I'm just gonna... I don't think I have anything far-fetched, maybe because it's getting to the point where now I have to like start researching things. So like my knowledge kind of not ends here, but it definitely is kind of like stretching. So I'm just excited to go in and see something I haven't seen before and get to like research it and, get to know it. So
I just thought of one I should have put on my bingo square.
What?
Clea. You know,
isn't
Clea?
Isn't that Dormammu's daughter or something like that?
I don't know that he's her daughter, or that she's his daughter, but she's like a love interest to Doctor Strange. Although they're doing Christine in this movie, so I don't know if they'll introduce Clea or not. But that'd be kind of a neat little concept if they do that.
Okay. Mine would probably be, like I mentioned earlier, that I really hope, and I don't know if they will, but I really hope Living Tribunal shows up. Because I don't know, just those cosmic entities and stuff like that could be really badass, especially if you like we've seen the Celestials be brought to life and such like that. So seeing stuff that's more powerful than them, bigger than them, and just seeing that on the big screen will probably be trippy and just badass as hell. Or even if I go outside of Living Tribunal, I guess I don't know, Galactus showing up would be pretty mind blowing too. But well, not the cloud version, But that's more or less what I had. So let's go ahead and wrap this up for today. I will say a couple mentions. Obviously, hopefully, next Monday we will. Or do you guys think that we should do a live stream Thursday night, like around 8 or 9? Well, not 8 because that'd be around 9 or 10, and give our initial thoughts of the movie, or should we just hold it off till Monday? What do you guys think?
I think we should definitely record a initial thing.
Okay.
And then go more in depth on Monday.
All right, so we'll discuss that a bit more in person later this week, but we'll definitely give everyone a heads up and schedule a live stream or something if we do decide to go that route. To let you, the viewers, the two people in the audience, let you know how the movie is. We'll try to keep it spoiler free for as long as possible before we officially. I will give a spoiler warning, or the other people will, if we get into a little bit of spoiled territory. But definitely gonna be covering Moon Knight finale and Doctor Strange finale next Monday in depth, and I'm thinking that within the next week or two, I'm going to be uploading the audio versions for if you don't want to do YouTube, to like places like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor, stuff like that. So definitely be on the lookout on those. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. It definitely helps with like the algorithm and such. And if you haven't already, we would highly appreciate a subscribe. If you are enjoying the content. If not, then thank you for coming anyways. I hope that you give us another shot eventually. But until then, thank you, Mr. Oyman, for showing up. And you are coming next week, right? Next Monday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be here from now on.
So looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Of course, it's a pleasure to have you as always, Miss Cap.
Of course. Always here.
All right, and thank you so much. It's always a blast having you on, Mr. JT. Thank you for coming. And thank you.
It's awesome.
I gotta survive until Thursday.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be the hardest task. But
stay off the internet, everyone. Other than watching.
Yes. Mute stuff on Twitter if you have it. Stay off Facebook. Stay off of YouTube, because I hear that YouTube actually does have full-blown spoilers that aren't like the stuff that was shown at CinemaCon. I'm personally staying off of YouTube other than uploading this here. But yeah, be careful. There are spoilers out there. We would hate for anyone to have the movie ruined through a potato quality on a thumbnail on YouTube. That would just be terrible. But hopefully everyone gets a chance to see it this both Moon Knight and Doctor Strange this weekend, and so you guys could join us next week. Until then, y'all have a fantastic week.
You know how much
Bye,
I
everyone.
sacrificed?
All right.